Have you ever thought that there must be an easier way to pass the CISM exam? Well, there is. It's called the Destination Certification CISM Masterclass. Seriously though, we built it specifically with that in mind. How can we make passing the exam as easily as possible without selling you an actual answer key to the exam? And at the same time, we want to make you better security professionals. What we landed on is an intelligent, integrated learning management system that we built from the ground up with the idea that it can track very accurately what you already know well enough so that you can focus all of your study time exactly on those things you still need to learn better. It also automatically adjusts your study plan based on your schedule and progress so that you know exactly what to study every day to comfortably pass the exam on your first attempt. If you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description. But with that out of the way, enjoy the video.
Let's start from this question. When something goes wrong, how do we keep the business running? What's the difference between managing an incident and responding to one, and why does it matter? Let's break down how these two disciplines work together to detect, contain, and recover from security events while keeping operations steadily flowing. Not every anomaly or alert that crosses your security operations center requires the same level of response. An event of interest represents any observable occurrence in your systems or networks that warrants attention. It could be a failed login attempt, an unusual network connection, or a system configuration change. However, when an event violates your security policies, threatens data confidentiality, or disrupts business operations, it escalates to become an incident. This distinction drives resource allocation and determines whether you're simply monitoring or actively responding. Now that we understand these simple nuances in terminology, how can we detect these? Your ability to identify and respond to incidents depends entirely on the quality and diversity of your detection capabilities. Modern organizations deploy multiple layers of detection technologies and human resources that work in concert to provide comprehensive visibility across physical and digital environments. It's like setting up security cameras from different angles. One catches the front door, another one the back door, another one the windows. The power comes from tying them together so nothing sneaks past, without overwhelming yourself though with false alarms. Let's talk through the main ones responsible and start with intrusion detection systems, or IDS for short. IDS serve as your network's early warning system, continuously monitoring traffic patterns and comparing them against known attack signatures and behavioral baselines. These passive sensors analyze network packets and system activities without interfering with traffic flow, generating alerts when suspicious patterns emerge that could indicate reconnaissance, exploitation attempts, or data exfiltration. Next, intrusion prevention systems take detection a step further by actively blocking identified threats in real time. Positioned inline with network traffic, an IPS can immediately terminate malicious connections, drop harmful packets, or even reset sessions when attack patterns are detected, providing automated response capabilities that operate at machine speed to prevent successful exploitation. Data loss prevention systems focus specifically on protecting sensitive information from unauthorized disclosure, whether through malicious exfiltration or accidental exposure. By understanding data classification and monitoring information flows across endpoints, networks, and cloud services, DLP solutions can detect and prevent intellectual property theft, compliance violations, and insider threats before critical data leaves your control. Remember, not every layer of detection has to be digitally wizardry. A basic camera on the wall can spot what the software misses and give you real eyes on an incident. Modern IP cameras with analytic capabilities can identify unauthorized access attempts, detect tailgating, recognize suspicious behavior patterns, and integrate with access control systems to provide comprehensive situational awareness of your physical environment. Lastly, human security guards bring intuition and judgment that technology cannot replicate. serving as both a deterrent and a detection mechanism for physical and social engineering attacks. Think of them as the human firewall, scanning fraud behavior, verifying who is and essentially needed to be there, and jumping in when a situation doesn't compute. Now that we know how to protect against these, what exactly are these? What are the incidents we are trying to protect our organizations from? Real-world incidents come in many forms, each requiring different detection methods, response strategies, and recovery procedures. Understanding the characteristics of common incident types helps organizations prepare appropriate playbooks, allocate resources effectively, and train response teams for the scenarios they're most likely to encounter. The incidents we'll explore represent the threats that keep security professionals awake at night, from sophisticated malware campaigns to insider threats that exploit trusted access. Okay, that's a pretty clear definition, but does anyone still have trouble thinking of examples? Let's fix that by reviewing some examples, starting with malware. Malware, or malicious software, represents one of the most persistent threats organizations face, ranging from commodity viruses to sophisticated nation-state tools. Another example is financially motivated cybercriminal activities targeting organizations through business email compromise, payment card theft, cryptocurrency mining, and fraud schemes. Malicious or negligent insiders pose unique challenges because they operate with legitimate credentials and knowledge of security controls. Whether motivated by financial gain, revenge, or simply carelessness, insider threats require behavioral monitoring, access controls, and data protection strategies that balance security with employee privacy and productivity. Another malicious example can be denial of service and distributed denial of service attacks. These aim to overwhelm systems with traffic and render systems unavailable to legitimate users. Next, unauthorized network access represents a fundamental security failure that can lead to data theft, system compromise, or lateral movement within your environment. A final example is ransomware. It attacks and encrypts critical data and systems, demanding payment for restoration while threatening data exposure. It's a dealing with a house fire. Shut the doors so it doesn't spread, grab your fire extinguisher, backups, or decryption tools for us, and decide if calling the arsonist for help is really worth the cost or the consequences. Now that we understand these basic incidents better, let's get to managing and responding to them. While these terms are often used interchangeably, incident management and incident response serve distinct but complementary roles in your security program. Incident management encompasses a broader organizational framework, the policies, procedures, and governance structures that ensure consistent and effective handling of security events throughout their life cycle. Incident response, on the other hand, represents the tactical execution of specific technical and procedural steps to contain, eradicate, and recover from an active incident. Think of management as a strategic layer that ensures readiness and continuous improvement, while response is the operational layer that executes when threats materialize. So, effective incident management requires a holistic approach that aligns security operations with business objectives while maintaining the flexibility to adapt to emerging threats. What exactly is the main goal of incident management, though? The goal extends beyond simply reacting to incidents. It's about building organizational resilience that minimizes impact, accelerates recovery, and strengthens defenses against future attacks through continuous improvement. What are the main goals of incident management? We can start with restoring service. Service restoration represents the primary business driver behind incident management, focusing on minimizing downtime and returning operations to normal as quickly as possible. Secondly, incident management must align with broader organizational objectives, whether that's maintaining customer trust, protecting intellectual property, ensuring regulatory compliance, or preserving competitive advantage. Individual actions and objectives matter, but without a playbook, they're just reactions. The incident management lifecycle ties it all together, guiding teams from preparation to response to lessons learned. The incident management lifecycle provides a structured framework that ensures consistent, repeatable, and measurable response to security events. This cyclical process begins long before an incident occurs, with preparation and planning, continues through detection and response activities, and concludes with post-incident analysis that feeds back into improved preparation. The first phase is planning and preparation. Preparation forms the foundation of effective incident response, encompassing team formation, playbook development, tool deployment, and training exercises. This phase is all about getting your ducks in a row. Figure out which assets matter most. Set up communication channels. Assign roles. Classify incidents. and run tabletop drills so you're not practicing for the first time in the middle of a real crisis. The second step is detection, triage, and investigation. This critical phase transforms raw security alerts into actionable intelligence through systematic analysis and prioritization. Detection capabilities identify potential incidents. Triage processes determine severity and priority based on business impact, and investigation activities gather evidence to understand the scope, timeline, and attribution of the incident. Once an incident is confirmed and understood, teams execute containment strategies to prevent spread, conduct detailed forensic analysis to understand root causes and attack methods, track remediation progress across affected systems, and implement recovery procedures that restore normal operations while ensuring attackers cannot regain access using the same methods. After immediate threats are addressed, teams conduct comprehensive reviews to identify lessons learned, evaluate response effectiveness, and develop improvement recommendations. Finally, formal incident closure ensures all remediation actions are complete, documentation is finalized, and stakeholders are notified that normal operations have resumed. If preparation is rehearsal, incident handling is opening night, the moment the team takes alerts and turns them into real-time action and resolution. These functions operate in sequence but often overlap, with teams cycling through detection, triage, analysis, and response activities as new information emerges. Each function requires specific skills, tools, and procedures that must work together seamlessly to minimize incident impact and duration. The first of these is detection. Detection mechanisms identify potential security events, while reporting processes ensure the right people are notified quickly. This includes automated alerts from security tools, user reports of suspicious activity, and threat intelligence feeds, all channeled through defined escalation paths. Next off, triage, which represents the critical decision point where security teams determine which events require immediate attention versus those that can be deferred or dismissed. This process evaluates multiple factors, including affected assets, potential business impact, attack sophistication, and available resources to assign appropriate priority levels. Triage is the fast-thinking gatekeeper that stops analysts from chasing shadows and keeps focus on the threats that truly matter. The next step is the incident response function. It executes tactical actions to contain, eradicate, and recover from security incidents based on analysis findings and organizational priorities. You can only throw so many humans at alerts before burning out the team. Automation changes the game by handling the routine stuff in seconds, not hours. Automation transforms incident response from a purely manual process to one where machines handle routine tasks at scale and speed. The first automation control is Security Orchestration, Automation, and Response, or also known as SOAR. These tools coordinate security elements and automate response workflows through playbooks and integrations. A second automation control is SIEM tools, or Security Information and Event Management tools. Their goal is to aggregate and correlate security data from across your entire infrastructure, transforming millions of individual events into actionable intelligence. To better understand these, it's important to understand the core functions of a SIEM, starting from aggregation. Log aggregation collects security events from diverse sources into a centralized repository for analysis and correlation. Secondly, data normalization converts diverse log formats into a common schema, enabling consistent analysis across different security tools and platforms. Event correlation identifies patterns and relationships between seemingly unrelated security events to detect complex multi-stage attacks. Next, secure storage maintains historical security data from forensic analysis, compliance requirements, and threat hunting activities. Incident analysis dives deep into technical details to understand attack vectors, identify compromised systems, determine data exposure, and assess overall impact. Analysts examine logs, network traffic, system artifacts, and malware samples to reconstruct attacker activities, building a timeline of events that informs containment and recovery strategies while supporting potential legal action. SIEM analysis capabilities transform raw security data into actionable intelligence through rule-based detection, statistical analysis, and machine learning algorithms. Analysts use SIEM platforms to investigate alerts, hunt for threats, visualize attack patterns, and generate metrics that demonstrate security program effectiveness to stakeholders and auditors. Finally, The last SIEM core function is reporting. Automated reporting generates dashboards, alerts, and compliance documentation that keeps stakeholders informed about security posture and incident status. These reports provide real-time visibility for operation teams and executive summaries for leadership teams. To ensure these tools are applied effectively, we rely on security principles and frameworks, the fundamental rules that shape how controls are designed, enforced, and trusted. Security principles are the foundational guidelines that shape how systems, processes, and people are protected against threats. Let's review some of the main security principles and frameworks, starting with secure failure. Systems should fail to a secure state when errors occur, denying access rather than granting it when security controls don't function. Another important system principle is least privilege. Users and processes receive only the minimum access rights necessary to perform their functions, limiting potential damage from compromised accounts. Compartmentalization is another significant feature. Security zones isolate systems and data based on sensitivity and trust levels, preventing lateral movement during incidents. Critical functions are divided among multiple individuals to prevent fraud and errors. For example, the person who detects an incident shouldn't be the sole authority for declaring it resolved, ensuring proper oversight. Simply put, the firefighter who spots the flames doesn't get to sign off that the fire is out. You still need the fire marshal to check the scene. And last but not least, we need to review Zero Trust architecture. Zero Trust architecture assumes no implicit trust, requiring continuous verification of every transaction regardless of source location or previous authentication existing. And that is an overview of incident management and incident response within Domain 4, covering the most critical concepts you need to know for the exam.
If you were in our masterclass, you would soon take a knowledge assessment, which is a very quick test that identifies which topics within incident management and incident response overview you still need to study more and which ones you can put aside because you already know them well enough to pass the exam. There's a link to the masterclass in the description. I hope we'll see you there, but at least we'll see you in the next MindMap.